NoBSNutirition, episode 22 of the podcast, and we're going to talk about why is digestive important. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, this is episode 22 of the podcast. Typically on these podcasts I talk about 3 to 2 subjects, maybe one I go into more detail, and we're just going to get straight to the point. The topic is, why is the digestive important? What does digestive do? What does the digestive system do? So pretty much here's the definition, etc. Pretty much the digestive system is breaks down foods. So whatever you eat is absorbed by macro to micronutrients. So let's say you get a slice of pizza or a ground beef. It breaks those down by protein, carbs, and fat, micronutrients, and then the digestive tract, goes to the large, small intestines, the juices, and then after that it absorbs through the body. That's pretty much a quick summary of the digestive tract. Why is it important, bulking, cutting, or retaining? The reason why the digestive tract is important is to absorb calories. So if you have an off digestive tract, especially while bulking, it won't utilize those calories to build more muscle mass. So let's say you're bulking eating 500 calories, right? This can go in different shapes and sizes. The digestive tract is important because it's protein, carbs, fat, everything. If your digestive tract is not absorbing any food or nutrients the proper way, it can cause, gut formation, leaky gut, bloating, constipation. That's a big one. Constipation, shitty bowel, you have a shitty bowel. You can't poop, less absorbed, so those calories will probably go to body fat, mostly the muscle. Not a fast metabolism, because if you're eating and you're not, properly absorbing things, that can cause a slow metabolism, and so on and so forth. And if you have a shitty gut, especially if you're not digesting everything, you're not going to get the progress that you want to see. So if you're losing weight, trying to build muscle, recomp, whatever, you're not going to see the progress that you want because your gut is not the best shape that it can be. And remember that the digestive system is going to correlate to your gut health. So if you have poor digestive, especially with all this processed food and all the shit you probably do eat, it's going to correlate that, and it's going to correlate to mental problems as well. So if you have a shitty gut, most likely you're going to have a shitty mindset, less motivated, more sluggish, so you don't want to go outside. So many factors like that. And also it can correlate to sleep and stress. So if you have bad sleep, bad stress, you're not going to be as productive, you're not going to be focused. So you gotta correlate that. So bulking is the same thing. Cutting is the same thing. Especially the body's on a lot of stress when cutting, because you're starving yourself technically. You're gonna have gut issues if your digestion is not perfect. Especially if you're eating a lot of protein, so you don't lose a lot of muscle mass and your body's not digesting that. Maintaining as well. If you're maintaining, just try to maintain your weight. You eat some processed food, or you have dairy problems, and you're still drinking milk, you're going to have gut issues. And I don't give a shit if your body, absorbs it properly. If you have gut issues, if you're inflamed, if you're doing diarrhea, that's going to be a bigger problem as it is. So you gotta be wary of what you're eating and actually remember what the hell you're eating, not just, trying to take a bite of that processed food or of that thing you can't really be eating. So this is going to be a big topic. Bloating. Protein amount, fiber amount, types of food, and types of diet. I'm going to explain all 4 of them, and I'm going to go first protein amount. Protein is is a good source to become more fuller and also recover, build muscle, and be more healthy and fit. But the problem is people don't understand you can get problems to eat extra protein. Now I'm not talking about eating 1 gram per body fat or 1.2. I'm talking about eating 2 grams per pound of body fat, 3 grams per pound of per pound of body fat. So if you get me, a 200-pound person, I love eating 250 grams of protein. But I know if I eat 400 grams of protein, I'm going to be bloated. I'm going to be probably constipated because protein takes a lot to digest. And I'm probably not going to be the best state to actually produce a lot of force in the gym to actually feel better and be optimal. To be to be optimal. Optimal. There you go. Optimal. It also is this thing called protein farts. Most likely, if you're farting, which is not really normal to fart a lot, especially if you're farting a shit ton of gas 24/7 by eating a lot of protein, most likely that's going to correlate to a lot of gut issues. So you probably have an inflamed gut if you're just farting 24/7. So the protein amount does matter. So you have to take consideration. And even low protein could cause some gut problems, but that's very rare. But more protein, I'm talking about 2 grams, 3 grams per body fat, is not going to be the best for you most likely. Especially, it is expensive to have a lot of protein. So unless you want more gut problems and spend more money, you're going to have a lot of problems in the end. So you guys have to consider how much protein you're eating and see if it's good for you. Fiber amount, this is a big one. A lot of people, a lot of health enthusiasts love to promote fiber because fiber will help you poop and excrete waste. Soluble fiber also. But my point is, some people like fitness fanatics love to eat fiber. And you know, the people who eat high volume protein recipes, high volume meals, like a lot of lettuce, a lot of stuff with fiber, they don't realize that can cause gut problems. If you this is me 144, man, and during that time to maintain that weight, to maintain that body fat around 13% for me, I had to eat high volume stuff, lettuce, spinach, high fiber stuff, and I was clocking around 80 to 100 grams of fiber. And you would think I would be pooping consistently, but no, I was actually really more constipated than now. Right now, I'm eating like a lot of junk food, what people would say, and also I would say I'm eating more simple foods like rice and beef. That's it. And I'm pooping really well. So if you're eating a lot of fiber, just because this health professional says to eat a lot of fiber, it might be actually a lot of fiber. For most people, I would suggest maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 grams. But honestly, 80 grams of fiber, 70, maybe 60 here and there, 100, 120 is way too much for most people. And if you're bloating, having like a 40-inch waist at like 150 pounds, most likely that fiber amount is not good for you. And you have to consider that over time. So if the fiber amount is causing you leaky gut, bloating, also mental problems as well as stress, because you're having shit ton of stress in the body, you know, it bloated, gassy, constipation, what else? Pretty much, brain fog, that's another reason. That can cause a lot of problems down the road. So you have to worry about the fiber amount as well. Types of food, so this is also a big one. The types of food is going to correlate with the types of diets, so we're going to talk about both. So the types of foods that you eat, it will correlate to your gut health. Even though a food might be good for you, let's say fruits, no, let's just say milk, right? It's a dairy product. Even though milk might be good for you, it can be bad for you. Let me explain. If you're having a lot of gut problems with milk, you can't tolerate well, you might be lactose intolerant, and you're gassy, you're bloated, you're shitting, everything, milk might not be the best for you. You might have to go with an enzyme with milk. So you guys gotta understand, just because something's healthy for you, or maybe if you don't like that food, or maybe you have problems with it, don't eat it, or don't drink it. That's simple. Just because what your diet says, so let's say you're doing like a milk-based diet, let's say you're doing like, okay, mostly milk and maybe some meat diet, right? That doesn't mean it's gonna be optimal for you. So you guys have to remember, just because what the foods say on the diet plan doesn't mean you should use it. You have to use some logic. So if you're allergic to milk, well, not allergic, but if you can't tolerate milk or you can't tolerate eggs, don't eat those 2 items because you can't tolerate well. And just because you have willpower to eat those items, when you know cheese might be bad for you, is not going to help you in the long term, and that's going to hinder your weight loss progress. So if you're doing everything good, eating healthy food, sleeping, training, everything, most likely those healthy foods you're eating are not the best healthy foods for you. Just because something's healthy doesn't mean you're going to be alright. So you guys got to understand that. And just because a diet like keto is pretty much just meat, and you're not and you're not eating a lot of processed food, you're not becoming inflamed, doesn't mean it's the best for you, because keto doesn't have micronutrients. And just because you might be supplementing with micronutrients doesn't mean it's going to be the same as eating watermelon or a piece of banana. It's not going to be a perfect amount. You have to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. So just remember, just types of diets, types of food is not the best for you. You guys got to remember that. So, constipation, hydration, fiber, and food. So this is like the big three right here. If you, hydration, fiber, and food quantity and quality. So let's talk about hydration and fiber. A lot of people like to drink diet sodas. A lot of people like not to drink water. And the problem with that is, if you don't drink a lot of water, obviously you're not going to have a good bowel system. You're not going to have a good healthy gut. And for most people, I would recommend for the Americans out there is to drink at least 5 to 6 cups of water a day. That's like the bare minimum. Or 9, 9 to 6 cups of water a day. At least you're drinking somewhat water. And now that water intake will go up, obviously, if you're more active, if you're sweating more. But for the American out there who's literally have an office job or something, I would say drink 7, 9, 6 cups of water. You don't have to drink a gallon. You don't have to drink a gallon of water a day if you don't want to. Just drink the bare minimum just to be relatively healthy, or just to be relatively physical. I'm trying to speak. Just be relatively healthy. That's what I mean. And fiber amount. Just eat the bare minimum fiber. It's not that hard. Supplement with fiber, for crying out loud. So maybe eat about 500 grams of fruit a day. Maybe 300. I don't know. Eat some fiber. Have about 40 grams of fiber. 30. I think the bare minimum for men is 25. But if you're eating like 4,000 calories a day, eat around 40 to 50 grams of fiber. Do not be scared of fiber. Just don't take it up to 80 grams. Because more fiber does not mean better. More fiber can actually lead to more constipation. Less fiber can lead to more constipation as well. So you guys have to remember that you need to make sure your hydration is important and is a good aspect. Do not just drink energy drinks and diet soda thinking that's a good hydration. Water has minerals and micro minerals as well. So you guys got to remember that you have to drink some water. Even though you don't like it, drink the water anyways, or use some flavor packages. So flavor packages like Crystal Light it's simple and easy. Have some sodium packages, so if you're active, you can have some sodium. So you guys have to remember that we got things now. You can make things taste good. So drink some water, for crying out loud. And actually have a medium-sized protein intake. So I recommend for most people, even women, 30, 40, 50 grams of fiber. And food quality, this will correlate from food quantity. So if you're eating a lot of food, you have to make sure the quality is good, because if you're eating a lot of processed junk, you're gonna have gut problems. You're gonna have constipation. You're gonna have a bad gut. You're gonna have a bad digestive tract. So if you're not absorbing the food properly, you're gonna have these problems. And also, having a bad gut will correlate having more chance of getting sick. So if you don't want to get sick, especially if you have a job or if you're a nurse or something like that, where you work with a lot of people and you're not able to afford to get sick, this is very important. So you guys gotta understand that you have to have a good gut so you don't get sick later on. I know when I start eating healthy, nothing, like, just because my body changed and everything doesn't mean anything. What really pushed the needle is I'm not getting sick anymore. I remember the last time I got sick was literally almost a year ago, and shockingly, I had like a cold and that's it. Like, I wasn't really sick for like a week. Like one day and that's it. After that, I was perfectly fine. So, you guys gotta remember that food quality matters too. Try not to eat a lot of processed food. That's easier said than done. Try to eat like 20% processed food if you know your calories, And food quantity. So if you're eating like 4,000 calories of mostly clean foods, then you have to be careful. You try not to get constipated, because if you eat 4,000 calories, let's say that's your bulking calories, you have to try not to be constipated, because if you're constipated, you're not absorbing the nutrients as well, and you're not going to gain weight as much or gain muscle. So you have to remember that. We pretty much talked about everything. Yeah, hydration, food quality, food quantity. So now we're going to talk about summary. We talked about constipation, so hydration, fiber, food quality, and quantity. So those three matters. Now we're going to talk about bloating, like things that will make you bloat. So protein amount, fiber amount, types of food, and types of diet. So if you're on a keto diet eating mostly meat, you're most likely not hitting your micronutrients, and also you might be bloated because it's just fatty cuts of meat. So you have to consider that for yourself. Also, we're going to go why is it important bulking, cutting, and maintaining for digestive tract. So if you're bulking and you're not absorbing the food and nutrients right, those food and nutrients won't really go into muscle building things like amino acids. You guys gotta remember that. What does the digestive system do? It pretty much digests foods to absorb from micro to macronutrients, and also it goes to at the small and the big intestines to excrete after waste. So poop and pee. Why is digestion important? That is the topic for today. We are done. So you learn what you need to focus on. The big three is hydration, fiber, and food quality and quantity. And we also focus on things that you have to be aware of: the protein amount, fiber amount, etc. And we just explain why it's important. So if you're not absorbing no nutrients, you're not going to get the best bang for your buck for building muscle, cutting, or maintaining. Because remember, you can do a recomp on maintaining if you have a higher body fat percentage, like 20-21, but that's a video for next time. That's really it for today, everybody. Today's episode episode 22 of the podcast, and my name is Drake, or NoBSNutirition. If you want free nutrition coaching, just remember I do not have a certification for that, but I am able to do it for free. Down below in my email, just text me. And also, I am working for my CTP, so I will be doing personal training. I don't have a certification for that yet. I'm going to get it pretty shortly. If you still want to be a part of that, just remember I don't have it yet, so I can't train you yet, okay? So just, maybe if you want to book something later on in the future, that'll be perfectly fine right there. So that's really it. Thank you for watching. Please comment below. Give me some video ideas, guys. I need some. And yeah, thank you. Goodbye.